Oh, you beat me here.
Yeah, because my brain was like, we said 15 minutes, but it's about to be 4. Uh, Did I ADHD 10 minutes away? And yeah,
I love that. Did I ADHD 10 minutes away?
you
That's too funny.
lose track of time so easily.
I know. I get it. Hold on one second. She is. Oh, Jane's gonna be a little bit late, so we got a few minutes to chit chat.
Okay.
She said, I need to do a hard shutdown. I'm getting the circle of death.
Oof.
Hmm.
That's not good, right? Okay, so whoops, maybe I didn't send that message. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Hold on one second. Oh, I had just enough time to make sure that everybody ate. I made dinner ahead, and it was one of those things where like I had to take my oldest is driving now. He's got his license, thank God. And but he doesn't like to drive, so if he doesn't have to drive, he won't drive. So if I can drive him, I will. And
Doing that.
yes, going off of what you said, hi Jane, going off of what you
Hello.
said, I recognize taking my survival job and witnessing other people in the resort environment. I recognize that I have a confidence issue. I have some, and I gotta heal that wound. Anyways, but this I digress. It's not about me tonight. Welcome, welcome, Jane.
Hello.
Hi, what's up, friends? Good to see
Hi,
you
Jane.
all.
Good to
Hi,
see you.
Gabby. How are
So
you?
most of you guys have heard or known that Jane has been our special guest co-host. And so I thought it would be so fun to bring Jane on and highlight Jane as our a part of our Meet Your Actor series. I know she's
Yay!
and get to know
There we go.
Jane Aquino because I don't know, we really like you.
I like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
guys too a
For
lot. I
for
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, for so many reasons. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little introduction. Jane Aquino, I met you through TVAS, and you were a part of one of my first ongoing classes, my very first ongoing class after my 4 week, and I just thought, oh gosh, she's so cool. Like she's so cool. And then I read up about you and you've also shared your 20 plus years of experience in customer service, HR, merchandising. That's right? Yeah. A legal assistant. And you've done this in architecture and design, retail, business to business, and entertainment. So, and for me, you're like our go-to like resourceful person. Like, is she
Yes.
right? And you're
Yeah.
always like another big cheerleader for everybody, just like Gabby is too. And an ear to bend when there is, things that are going on that are good and things that are going on that are bad and or rough. And you're also always quick to share information with us to help us elevate our own journeys as you are working on your journey. You're kind of like the mom, and you're like the 1/3 of the old ladies in our group. I say that lovingly. I'm one of them
That's
too.
awesome. Yeah.
So, and you are so lucky, which is so cool because you live in Las Vegas, which is where you need luck. So, do you want to share a little bit about like your journey with us and how you got started in voice acting and
Yeah,
why?
since I guess this is my time to share.
Yeah.
This is my first time being interviewed by anybody, and so um yeah, I wasn't I mean, I kind of knew what to expect, but as far as like talking about myself, I'm not used to this.
Yeah. We just talked about that a
Yeah.
second ago.
Yeah.
And ambivert, so I get kind of awkward and weird, and I start to stutter. So I apologize for any of that.
Oh, you're
No.
fine.
Good.
So when was the first time that the spark kind of went off inside your head?
Yeah,
And
so it's funny because my older son, he's he's just very talented, physically talented. At a young age, he was into martial arts and dance, and when he started performing showcases in these elements, I became that mom, that dance mom, that
Yeah.
kung fu mom, and all that stuff. And most parents will just leave their kids and make them do whatever what they wanted to, or let them practice whatever they needed to practice, do their games or whatever. Um, I was always I always wanted to get to know the studio owner or the other dance moms to see what they were doing. And um, long story short, he became a natural at these things. He's a natural born entertainer. And um, when he completed high school, he was immediately um, headhunted by one of the dance shows out here in Vegas when he was 18.
Oh, wow.
And so,
Wow.
yeah, so he's like, why not? I'll do it. So he was a dancer on the strip for a show for a year. And during that year, he started to explore the different elements of entertainment, singing, um, acting, and I saw a Groupon for a voiceover class, the intro to workshop at TVOS. And I was like,
Oh,
hey, do
wow.
you wanna check this out? And he's like, sure. And he went and he took the class,
Oh,
but he didn't feel like he could pursue it at that time. So I was like,
Mm.
okay, at least you went and saw what it was about. And then maybe 6, 7 years later, in 2019, um, in 2019, that was right before the pandemic. So that year, everything was normal. My normal then was going to work in the office and then having to pick up my son or take my younger son to the hospital, or I had to stay home because he wasn't feeling mentally stable.
right.
Um, and then more towards the end of that year, on top of that, my mom fell ill, and she had Parkinson's disease and dementia. She's going through all of that. And at work, my work was unstable. I still work there now,
Yeah.
but at the time, I had been not threatened, but I was warned that my job was always being saved. Like I could be let go any moment. So
Wow.
basically, I'm a legal assistant at this firm, and the corporate lawyer was like, "No, I can't. You can't get rid of her. I need her." So he's basically saved my job like 4 times
That's awesome.
Yeah.
within those last 2 years. And so that's how it kind of started. I started looking for fun, easy work from home jobs. I tried to do transcription for like videos, and that didn't work. It was like $1 a minute or something.
Oh my God.
And it turned out to be really hard and very time consuming. So I was searching, and then YouTube videos started popping up of these audiobook narrators. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So that became my algorithm, voice acting, but
Yeah.
specifically for audiobooks. And then the
Oh.
Groupon started showing up in my emails again for the class,
Resourcefulness, see?
right? Well, I would say it was more of the
Luck.
law of attraction,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
it was meant to be. This was my path.
totally.
Yeah.
All the signs were there, and that's what I did. That's how it happened. I um the Groupon kept showing up for, I don't know, a few weeks, and then I asked my husband. I was like, and my older son, I was like, hey, I think I might be interested in this. I just want to check it out, and see what it's about. Maybe I can do this for audiobooks. And so I went in person in, I think it was February of 2020. So it's after my mom had passed away. She had passed
Mm.
away in December 2019. So that kind of, my mentally, I was like, I need something to occupy my mind.
Yeah.
And, I just, my younger son, my sons were, they're older, they could still take care of themselves. And this would be something I could do once as far as training and stuff. I just want to do it once, check it out, and then see where it goes from there. So I took the class, and honestly, that class is just a must class,
Hmm.
right? I don't know about any other intro classes, but this class gave me the right perception. Me, I'm a realist, so
Yeah.
even though I was working this job, I was like, can I do it? Can I afford it? Do I want to do it? Even though it was going to take a long time to do. Um, because I understood that. I understood that in the intro class that, it could take 2 years, it could take 5 years.
Hmm.
And I just, by the end of the class, I was like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then I took one live class um, during the 4-week beginner course, and then the world shut down.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
no.
world shut down, and they were resourceful enough to figure out how to use the Zoom and how to conduct classes online.
Wow.
And it was hard, but it was easy. It was hard at the same time. Everybody was learning, so there was a lot of grace and learning together type thing. But
Yeah.
I just fell in love with just like getting out of that, getting out of like um a mindset right before you get into the booth. You
Yeah.
know, like I try not to come in the booth with um with a poor attitude.
Yeah.
I always try to have a like a really good working mindset. I'm gonna have fun. I anticipate like a really good time and all that stuff. And I got to work with pretty much all the coaches during that period of ongoing workshops and performance, learning all genres, trying to perform in all genres, and then niching it down to what I was more interested in versus like, nah, I don't want to do that. And I
Yeah.
didn't want to do audiobooks.
I was gonna ask you, do you do
Yeah,
audiobooks?
when you get to know these genres and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't know it was like that. you know,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was intense, and I thought I could do it, but the more that I thought about it, I was like, I don't have time to
Yeah.
do audiobooks. You could do commercials in 15 minutes,
Yeah.
in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
How many sessions do you do a day? I asked one of the coaches, so how many sessions or how long does it take for you to do a session in a day? It's like, oh, one session, 15 minutes. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to do that
And get paid.
and get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it all started.
So what genre are you surprised that you stumbled into during your training that you kind of were like, wow, that was unexpected? Because if you went into it because of audiobooks, which I think, some people that is like the route that they take getting into voice acting. And you're not doing audiobooks. So like what's the genre that you were like surprised by or that you love the most at this point?
Yeah, I'm not really surprised at what I've been booking, which is corporate narration
Right.
and e-learning. So it
Yes.
kind of it falls in line. It made sense that I would be booking these
Mhm.
types of projects, which I am totally fine with. I'm totally fine because I don't have a character. I don't have character experience yet.
Yeah.
Maybe down the line, I'd
Right.
love to do like anime or dubbing and stuff, but I don't have that specific training
Yeah.
in those genres. So I tend to, navigate towards the things that um I've been told I'm good at, which is that. And I haven't booked any commercials yet, like
No?
national commercials yet. No.
I thought
Really?
you booked a regional commercial. It was a social media spot for in Las Vegas for one of the public transportation.
It
right?
wasn't
Mm.
broadcasted though.
But it was a social media. It was, you
Yeah.
know, social media online commercial. So
Yeah, it was.
yeah,
Yeah, but a lot of it is like internal. Like there are cool spots, especially like the corporate narration or the sizzles
yeah,
that you do because some of them are like in the hotels.
that's cool.
So it's
That
still
is cool.
internal, but it's not out there. So I can't,
Can't share it.
I can't even
Yeah.
hear them.
That's
I've never heard them. So yeah.
I get
But
that.
Yeah.
yeah, and you said something really interesting too, how, first you're a mom, and then you have your career and your family, and that's kind of like something that Gabby and I have talked about. You tend to put some of these pieces of your life ahead of you, and then when you
Mm.
decide to like do something for you and incorporate you into what, is also important. That's also important along with all the other important pieces. And it's interesting that your son, helped you open up a door and get on a path, a creative path that maybe you might not have ever gotten on if he hadn't, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I think
I
that's interesting.
would also say in that experience, not just because he's an entertainer, like I lived vicariously through him,
Yeah.
Mm.
doing all that stuff. Like I'm not talented like that. I don't have the skills that he has, but I've watched him grow and excel in that.
Yeah.
Even my younger son, he's got I don't know, he's got millions of followers on TikTok just by being a cosplayer, an original cosplayer. Like,
That's
what?
Wow.
cool.
Who are these
Yeah.
people that are following you? But my with my older son because it was more social, like
Yeah.
we were out there and we were meeting people. I built a network doing that.
Yeah.
Um, and through that, was I I was able to help and offer my time in promoting a lot of events in the hip hop b-boy breaking community here in Vegas too.
Wow.
So so I have that network, but within those networks a lot of these performers and entertainers, they just don't do dance. They also are business owners. They also work in
Yes.
other fields and industries. So yeah,
You, you're
yeah,
such a natural connector. That's what it is,
Yeah.
and you do it in such an authentic and real way, and that's why when I say you're resourceful, you're just like a natural, resourceful connector. And it's just such a breath of fresh air because you're not looking for anything from anyone and you just
Exactly.
are giving out information and connecting people. And I just like absolutely love it. And you're like, yeah, and it's been super cool to have you a part of our accountability group that we have, which is also very important when you're an
for
actor
sure.
or like an artist, to have that support group. And you're always, you're just like, oh, what are we looking for? Tick, 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 tick. Here's a link. Go check
Yeah.
this out. So
Yeah.
I could see why your boss is like, no, 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 she's mine. She stays.
So I have a question. So because you started, you went into this also to like clear your head and stuff. It comes from a different perspective, like from other voice actors who are like, oh no, I really do want to pursue this because I've been thinking about this for so long. So is it or how do you handle not rejection? Well, yeah, I guess rejection or like have you ever thought, oh, I'm not good enough for this? Because you went into this with a different, completely different perspective of this is my time. This is when I get to have fun. Which is also a really great way to look at it.
Like a good
Right.
mindset. Yeah, like a good
Yeah.
mindset.
Um, well, it goes back to there. I've gone through my own trauma.
Mm.
Trauma as a little Asian Filipino girl going to like an all white elementary school, not knowing what her name was, not knowing what her nationality was, and then in high school being just weird. I don't know how to say it, but like,
Unique.
I went through I went through a really awkward stage between middle and high school, where when I went to high school, I like dropped all of my friends that I had and that I hung out with in middle school, and then in high school I I hung out with like the misfits. I became one of those misfits. Um and then so it was I've always I always have had this low self-esteem complex.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and so I've always, because I know this, I always have to overcome it.
Yeah.
And I also
Mhm.
worry about everything. I try to plan for everything. I try to be prepared for everything. Um when my husband and I had, well, okay, let's take it back. In middle school, I found out I had scoliosis. Severe. It was already severe when we found out. I was 12 years old. So I had to wear the back brace.
Oh my
I
God,
had
in
to wear
middle
this
school.
brace that like
No.
went around my shoulder and then like under here and like
Yeah.
my back,
Oh no.
whatever.
Yeah.
This was
That's
a long time ago.
right.
So
But
you don't
that's
have to say the date.
A
middle
long
school
time
is
ago.
terrible enough. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Boys and whatever,
Ugh,
image.
Mean
And
Girls.
then, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so there was also that. So that messed with my self-esteem as well. And then um after high school, I met my husband. We got married. I think I was 21 when I got married.
You were young. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were also like 21, 22 when we had our daughter.
Right.
And she was born naturally, but she had lots and lots of birth defects that the ultrasound back then didn't pick up.
Mhm.
So the doctors didn't know that she had these issues until she was born. So that was a lot of trauma. She was in the hospital for 5 months on a ventilator.
Mm-hmm.
She had a heart condition. Her trachea didn't fully form down to her stomach. So she had a feeding tube like in her head, and they'd move it to her stomach, or I don't know.
Yeah. It's a
It's
lot.
trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
And
lot.
she passed away when she was 5 months old.
Oh, yeah.
So
Sorry.
um no, it's okay. It's part of my story.
Yeah. It's
And
been
I
a
Yeah.
think, and
journey. Yeah.
it's part of my growth, because every year I go through it. I still go through it. She would have been 30 years. She'd been 30 years old this year.
Wow.
Um, and I still go through that trauma during those periods of when she was born and when she passed away. But I accept that. Like, I'm at peace with it.
Yeah.
I can't control the emotions that come um on those days, or if somebody goes to visit her grave and they send me a picture, I'm just like
Yeah. Yeah.
but honestly, I'm at peace because she suffered her whole life,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And I see her the way I saw her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was a blessing in disguise. I always tell myself, and I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um and then my older son, he has a heart condition. My younger son, he's bipolar.
Yeah.
So I have to find that strength
Yeah.
more often than not. So when it comes to voiceover, it's kind of the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
my attitude to everything that comes to me is my choice. I try to learn from it all. So when all my wins, I learn from it. All my losses, all rejection, I learn from it. I try to do better. Um,
I love
I was
all that.
working for a real estate development company here, and they had these awesome training programs, and one of them was called um, process improvement. I don't remember all of the details, but it was one of those training programs that really taught me so much, the concept of it, um of just, always improving. Like something may work for you for a long time, or something may work but needs to be tweaked, and you just try to keep figuring it out until it works for you. I do that a lot. I tweak I tweak everything so much. When I'm composing an email, I'll edit it like 4 or 5 times before I'm comfortable sending it. um and that's it's kind of my mantra, is just keep improving, you
I
know.
love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I mean, I don't love that you've had to go through trauma, but I love that, like, your perspective on how you've moved through it,
Yeah,
because it's very easy to get sucked into focusing on the negative side of things versus like
right.
trying to look for the positive, which is something that you have to actively do. And it's not, it's like you can't just go to the gym once and then you're going to be in shape. Like it's like, you know,
I wish.
If
I
only.
know, right? Me too.
But yeah, it's totally true.
And I love that perspective on how you move through being an actor and navigating through the rejection, because it's like 99.5% rejection, and it's a very it's I don't think that you know that until you get into being an artist or an actor
Yeah.
and being in entertainment. It's so hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, I just brush it off when it happens. No,
You move through
I'm
it.
a
Yeah.
little butthurt
You get
when,
a little salty.
well, the salty is when you actually hear the spot and you audition for it and you're just like, sounded just like that. or
Or better.
or wait, is that me? Oh no, that's not me.
Or when there's one where you actually, I know that you saw this. Do you remember there was an ad, I won't say for who it was. We both got an email about it because we talked about it. It was like a spoken word thing, and the payout was like $15,000. It was, we talked about it. I
I
don't want to
You
say
and
remember
the
I?
this.
company. Yeah. It was something that I guess I can say it was through Voquent. It
Oh.
was
Oh,
a while ago.
was it?
It was like an
It,
audition that you guys
yeah, it
both
was an
got and
audition.
you both like
And we're
didn't
like,
book it, right? So
Were they
yeah.
that's where you're
tags?
going.
No, it was like a campaign.
Oh,
It was like $15,000, and then
That's like real
like
money.
4 sessions that were like $500.
Volquint or VO Planet?
Voquent. I don't do VO play.
Oh,
But that sounds like some real good money. Yeah.
But yeah, yeah,
It's okay, so
I've
you
never forgotten about that.
I forgot about it
I,
already. I forget a lot. I'm old.
I you
I'm
That's a
like,
know,
good that's a
wait,
good thing too. It's like, once I'm over it, I don't remember anymore. Send it
I
and forget it. See it and forget it.
I love
I
that
try that.
too.
I
I
try.
love I love that about you, Jane, too, because you're kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna look at it, I'm gonna accept it, I'm gonna move through it, and then I'm done. Like, you're not hanging on to it. You're like, next, which is also kind of like a good way of looking at things. Because the negative is going to happen. The positive will happen too, but the negative is going to happen, and you got to have that grit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, what's the point of hanging on to the negative? There's
Right.
like other stuff to do.
Exactly. You don't have time for that. It's like, okay, I have till 4 o'clock till I have to record with
Yeah.
Jocelyn. I gotta get myself together because there was chaos before all this.
I'm
Oh, good.
sure. Oh, good.
I
Do you want to
mean,
share?
Yeah,
yeah.
I believe it.
Oh, well,
With the internet.
I was in the evocation concert. I've been participating in the evocation conference, going to their classes, and that's this weekend. It started yesterday, and yesterday was their kickoff party. See, I have their thing here. Was their kickoff party, and my internet completely just went down as soon as the kickoff started. So I missed the whole kickoff party last night because there's a lot of construction going on around here.
Hmm.
So we think it's that. I was nervous that I wasn't going to make this like a minute before. but today I was able to go to pretty much all the classes. It starts at 7 a.m. my time on the West Coast because they're running on East Coast time.
Welcome
been
to
up.
my world of
Yeah.
time zones.
I've been up, but like, the classes are 50 minutes with a 10-minute break, and then you got to get back on. All the classes are really like insightful and informative, and just gives you good perspective on the issues that they're talking about, or whatever
Yeah.
they're teaching you about. So yeah, right before this, I got to eat.
That's important.
You do kind of need that.
And then I had this when I was logging onto Zoom, or when I pulled up your email, um I got that little blue circle of death, and I was
Oh
like, "Oh
God, yeah.
no, why?" It was like that for like 5 minutes, and I went to my other computer to see if that was fine, and that was working fine. I was like, "Oh God!" And that's when I texted you, like, um, I'm gonna do a hard shutdown first, and and I was just hoping. Oh, yeah,
You're hoping like that happens even in like live direct sessions, I mean, technology is amazing, but it also is like sometimes just not your friend. I mean, how many times have we reached out to each other and been like, can we do a source connect? Like, check real quick. Can we just hop on real quick and double check? Cause I've got a source connect that I need, I booked this, gig, and I would like to do a check ahead because you never know. It might have worked before, but it might not work again, and you
yeah,
never know. So, and Jane is always good for that, which is also amazing. Also, she's also the best host. When you come into town, she will
oh
come and hang
yeah,
out with you and
hang out.
show you
I don't go
around.
on the
And
strip though. Like,
she
You have
knows
fun places to hang out, though. We went and
yeah,
got boba that one time. It
yeah.
was
There's a
great.
lot of cool places to hang out other than the strip.
yeah, that's like
So
off the
many.
beaten path. If you want to be off the beaten
Yeah.
path, Jane knows
Yeah,
where to go. She knows all the
yeah,
cool spots to be.
yeah. I won't
Which
even pick you up on the strip. Like, not
You're
these
like,
days.
walk,
Yeah.
keep
no,
walking,
she
take a bus.
convinced me to stay off the strip, like at a resort hotel that was not on the strip, but
Good job,
kind
Jane.
of. She's very resourceful, which I love. I love. I love. Would you say that like your background, because that's what I was in the beginning of this, I was trying to give a little bit of like a background in terms of like your 20 plus years and working
Hmm.
in retail and merchandising and corporate, and you
Yeah.
worked with law firms and architecture. Do you think that like you said, that's, everybody says, "Oh, I'm going to be a voice actor," and you're like, people are like, "I'm going to be a character," and you went into it as an audiobook, and once you get into it, you find yourself in like an entirely different place, and you kind of have to go with that energy and that flow. Do you think that like your background definitely has helped you
Oh yeah, for sure.
naturally? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mentioned the real estate development company where I learned the whole process improvement thing.
Yes, I love
But
that.
but I started working when I was 14 years old.
Wow.
I
Wow.
was a sophomore in high school. So I've worked my whole life. My whole life.
So, is there like a specific reason why, or did you have to, or was it like you just wanted to?
Um, it's a combination of both. Um, my older sister, she's 7 years older than me, and she was working at the mall. She was working at a fabric store, and we found out that I could start working at 14 with a high school work permit. So I did
Wow.
that, and then
Oh,
I just started working. And I was like, "Ooh, I have my own money," because I didn't earn an allowance. My parents my dad was in the Navy. He got recruited when he was in the Philippines when he was 18 years old.
Wow.
wow.
So
Yeah.
he served in the Navy for 20 years, and during that time, he was deployed on destroyers most of his naval career. Um, and then from the Philippines, my mom moved to the States when uh, when they were still babies, and so I was born in Virginia on a
Okay.
naval base.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and so they really they were focused on being Americans, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only spoke English. My mom founded one of the church locales that she was a part of. She like found and built this church in Virginia Beach, and so that was her focus. And then when my dad retired, we moved to California, and it was the same thing. She focused on church, and then my dad retired, but he worked still on a naval base. And so while they're focusing on that and just taking us to school, taking us to church and back, there wasn't a lot of upbringing or pressure on going to get higher elevation school, like going to
Mhm.
college or anything like that. So so what I saw from them was just they were always working.
Right.
When my
Okay.
brother graduated high school, he's 8 years older than me. He went directly into the Marine. He went directly to the Marines. And so he was gone for like 7 years.
Wow.
My sister went away to college for a couple of years, but I was still in middle school.
Okay.
So I didn't know what college meant or was. And when she came back and just started working, um,
Is that a puppy?
that's yeah.
Yeah.
She's also a dog mom and a boy mom.
I think I locked her in here. Hold on 1 second.
Like us, boy mom and dog mom.
Yes. Except mine can't come in. They're too
And
small.
I didn't even know she was in here. She totally hangs out under my clothes.
Oh my God, she snuck in. That's so
Oh,
cute.
But I had the door
yeah.
closed. She's been here in here this whole time.
She was being
Where was
quiet.
I? Where was I?
Yeah.
So
Oh
you,
my
She sneaked in.
yeah,
my
and
sis
your brother was
Your brother.
gone
yeah.
for 7 years, and then your sister went to college a little bit, but you
Hmm.
didn't know
But
what
she
that
came
was.
she came back and then she started working. And she worked in the field of fashion, or she went to school in the field of fashion merchandising. And so when she came back, she worked for this fabric store in the mall. And so she got me to work with her.
That's awesome.
I stayed with that
Oh.
company for 7 years.
See,
Wow. Okay.
that shows
Part time. Like,
loyalty, hard work,
Yeah.
dedication. I mean,
yeah.
like you are the steady, and you
And
are the
grit
steady.
because you did that all with the brace, right?
Oh no, I was out of the brace.
Oh,
I
okay.
was out of the
You
brace
were.
for a year, and then I didn't get checked till I was like in my 30s, and then I got surgery in my
Yeah, major
30s.
surgery.
Wow.
But yeah, that was crazy too. So, but yeah, I've been working for since I was 14. I learned a lot on that job that I took to my next job, which was I was a hostess for a restaurant. And so I was doing those two things at the same time. I and then I jumped around a little bit, more retail, and I just didn't like retail. I didn't like dealing with the public.
Yeah.
And then when my daughter passed away, um, I took some time off, obviously. And then I had a friend who was working at an office products company headquarters. Um, and she said that they're hiring. So I went in as a referral because I didn't have that, I didn't have that type of
Yeah.
experience, and they hired me. So that was my first corporate job.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
But
yeah.
the training was very limited. It was one person who trained me, and she was an awesome trainer. She was organized. Her training notes were uh
Like
were very,
meticulous.
yeah,
Yeah.
meticulous, very like easy to read,
Detailed. Yeah.
detailed, and that always stuck with me. I was like, this is I like how she trains. So anytime in my next few jobs, anytime I had to train, I always had her concepts in mind and tried to like kind of mimic how she bullet
Yeah.
pointed everything and explained the process, why it was that way, and that. So I learned I learned organization and training skills there.
Yeah.
Um
I love
this
that.
Yeah, the current job I have now was really interesting. It was also referral. Most of my jobs were through referrals.
Me too.
Wow.
So this job was not what I wanted to do. But I got laid off from the real estate development company during the recession.
Hmm.
I was really sad because I loved that job. It was I was a procurement agent. I ordered furniture and accessories for model homes,
Oh my God, that
and
would
Oh,
be
that sounds
so
like so much
fun.
fun.
I got to merchandise them. So I worked with a lot of different moving pieces. I worked with interior designers. I worked with the vendors who were supplying everything. I worked with purchasing. I worked with logistics. I worked with construction to make sure, the model homes are going to be ready for us when we are ready to install, and the
Yeah,
warehouse, all that stuff. So that's where I learned how to be like, how to coordinate and work as a team. But at
yeah.
the same time, I had to learn how to work independently. It was a new department, like there was a small group of us that got to got to create the processes and
Mm-hmm.
improve them as we went along.
I love it.
Yeah, so I learned a lot. Yeah, I learned a lot from that job. I think that was the job that, like, email. We still didn't have like websites then.
Yeah,
Like, I was
Yeah.
looking through downloaded catalogs.
Mm.
And yeah,
yeah,
downloaded catalogs or physical catalogs, because we have physical
yeah.
interior design libraries. So yeah, like learning how
Totally
to be
different.
resourceful. I had to learn it, but now it is just very natural to me to just like try to look something up and try to troubleshoot it myself.
Yeah.
But this job, yeah, the one that I have now was also a referral. It was it was originally as an executive assistant to the president. I have all the skills to do that. I just didn't like doing it. But
Good that you can honor that and know like yourself, you know?
Yeah.
I have to say that because I was the president's assistant, I communicated via email, in person with a lot of high level executives.
Mm.
So the professionalism like had to go up,
Right.
Yeah.
even from like the way I dressed. Like I had to
Yeah.
dress professional every day. Had to My emails had to be dear this, Mrs. Mr. that.
Yeah.
That's how it was. And I hated it. Because I
Fair.
didn't want to say the wrong things. I didn't want to, all that stuff. And then I just kept moving departments, or I acquired more responsibilities. I became front desk. I was HR assistant. Um, I was doing accounts payable. And then after the pandemic, they realized that they were they were not utilizing me as they should. I was doing too much.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
they broke up my responsibilities and they redistributed it to the rest of the admin team.
Mm.
And I was allowed to continue to work from home.
That's awesome. And
Yeah, that
then
is
that
awesome.
allowed you to do your voiceover stuff. Lloyd, what
Yeah.
were you going to ask? I'm sorry. I feel like you had a question.
Oh no, I didn't have a question. I when she said she hated the
Your job.
arbitrary, you didn't say arbitrary, but professionalism is arbitrary.
Yes.
I said fair. I
I
get
mean, I
that.
still had to be professional, even as a legal assistant. I'm just not face forward anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everything that my boss does is pretty much online now, Zoom or Teams. I hardly facilitate his meetings. I just try to keep him organized now, if anything. I do have a compliance position as well for gaming, but
Oh, wow.
it's a small position, so I just have to make sure everybody who works for our gaming department is compliant with the board.
And I feel
So
like you could use all those skills and like, I mean, and utilize all that experience to put like life into the voice of like your clients'
Definitely.
projects. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I did their IVR.
And as they should. That's
Really?
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
That's
that.
so
So
cool.
they're my first IVR client. Well, pro bono. Duh.
Yeah, but still, that's like, like sometimes you talk about this in another episode. It's good to do projects where you might not necessarily be getting paid, but it's for experience or credits or like a low paying, no paying but again, it's experience and
Or exposure.
yeah, exposure, and it's something you can build on your resume because when you get
Yeah.
started, you don't have any experience, and you need
Yep.
to have the experience. So as we wind down,
Lloyd.
Lloyd's got a question.
I just not a question, it's a statement.
Okay,
To an
Steve.
extent.
Okay.
To an extent.
To an extent.
When we say doing things for exposure and experience, to an extent. Don't let people take advantage of you.
Okay.
Oh,
I
yes.
just want to
Yes.
let that as a
Yes,
general
thank
note.
you. We need
All of
Lloyd
Yes,
to
my-
keep us
yes,
grounded.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Lloyd.
Yeah.
And-
All
yeah.
of my pro bono work is because I wanted to do them. I even offered to do them and told them this is what it would have cost at the end of the day.
I want to be like Jane.
I
Jane
send them an
is.
invoice. I send them a $0 invoice
I love you.
with
That's-
showing the discount of how much like what I did for them would have cost.
Wow. I got to do that too.
Yeah, Jane.
Yeah.
When she decides to know how to do something, you like fully want to understand it. There's no half-assing. And I love
Yeah.
that about you because I still struggle with rates and quotes and having
Same.
confidence in putting out invoices and,
Yeah.
showing my worth. And you were like, no, you figure it out and then you make it happen and you make it work. And then you do it with grace and professionalism and confidence. And, I know that
Yeah.
you have your struggle moments, but like, you look for
It's
the
an
part,
art.
Yeah. Rates and
right?
negotiating is still like, I don't know how many classes I've taken on rates and negotiations, but I don't think I'll ever be comfortable with it. Marketing too.
And I love too that, you are a team player, with your friends, you're like a friend player and a team player and, like a universal mom, and when you come across something that is of interest to you, that is beneficial for you, you are not one to hold that into you close. Like you want to share it when it comes up in conversation. You're not pushy on people, but like when you find an opportunity to share a piece of information that came across your path, you're like with voiceover review,
Yeah,
you
I mean, when I see something that, excites me or I know it's going to excite one of you, like,
share
hell
it,
yeah, I'm going to share it.
right? I love it. I love it. I
Uh,
love that. So I want to know a couple like some fun facts about Jane because I think we learned a lot. I now I see the full picture of Jane because like I have
Yeah.
had my own friendship and conversations with you, and so now I know like
More.
why. Yes. Yes. But so like what would if somebody said like what's your favorite food? Right off the top of
Um,
your head. It's like rapid fire questions like
when you struggle with an appetite, first of all, it's kind of hard to say. But lately it's been, I would say, Korean. Lately,
lately it's
Korean.
Korean.
But I'm game. Like my husband and I, we've been going to Indian like once a week the past like 3 weeks.
Mm.
Jane took me to a revolving sushi restaurant and
Oh,
like
that's
that was my
right.
first time
Oh,
having revolving sushi. Like the
no
sushi was on
way.
plates
Mm.
moving through the restaurant and then you just
Is it
grab
the
a
one with
plate.
the train?
Yes, it
With
was
the
a
little
sushi
choo-choo
on a
train?
train. I don't
I
know.
don't think it has a. I don't think it had a
No?
train.
Oh, there's
Sapporo.
one that has it. I don't remember.
Yeah, there's some that have boats,
Yeah.
trains. Just
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah, that was fun.
what would be your go like okay, so what is your favorite type of music? And it's so
Man,
hard, I know. Like if you had just or what's one that like we would find on your radio or like on your satellite, like a channel that you're listening to that's like dialed into your like vehicle right now? Because
like
it's hard.
Erica Badu, or like Erasure and The Cure, Depeche Mode.
I know those. I didn't know the
But
first
yeah,
one.
like
I know Erica Badu.
Fugees,
Sorry.
No.
Erica Badu, Bob Marley classics.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I grew up listening to alternative music.
Yeah.
My favorite bands were Depeche Mode, Erasure, and The Cure.
Yeah.
Like favorites. And to this day, I don't listen to them as much anymore, but when we're on a road trip, like we'll put on the 80s modern rock channel.
Yeah.
I've like listened
Morrissey and
And it's funny because it's like that's classic rock now,
Yeah,
right?
Red Hot
Like,
Chili Peppers.
yeah, totally. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
really? Green Day's classic rock. Okay, perfect. That's
Yeah,
great.
today's music, I can't even tell you. Like I don't I'm that old where I only remember things from the past, not present.
Me too. Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
So when you're going on a road trip, where is like your go-to vacation? Like where do you guys?
Hands down, San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
If it's a road
Oh,
trip, we're going to
yes.
San Diego. I
Yeah.
love San Diego.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. San Diego Zoo. Yeah. I want to take my kids to San Diego so bad. So drink, like if you were gonna go out with the ladies, like if you had a cocktail, like what would be your go-to drink?
Mm,
Or do
I
you
don't
not
drink
drink anymore?
cocktails. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't drink cocktails because I'm afraid I might have a reaction to something that's in it.
Yeah.
Um, I break out in hives
God.
if there's like a red
Oh.
wine in it, or
Yeah.
I really don't
Yeah.
know. Um, I know wine is one of the things that my skin does not like for some reason. But every once in a while I'll go out and have a Modelo
Oh
or a
yeah. I like
Mexican
it.
beer,
Yeah, yeah.
Pacifico, Modelo, Stella, or my go-to is a red Corona.
I've never had a red Corona before.
Me
Interesting.
neither.
The red Corona. Ask
You
me.
have,
I mean, I
Roy?
know what it is. No, I don't drink.
Oh, that's right. You don't drink. Okay.
But you know what it is.
No, I said I don't know what that is.
Oh, well, it's a Corona with a splash of grenadine.
Oh, yummy.
And the splash of grenadine makes the Corona like
Red.
pinkish, reddish,
Yeah.
depending on how sweet you want it. So
Oh, I like
that's a red
that.
Corona.
I
That's
don't know what
Nice.
grenadine is.
Grenadine is and the juice in the cherries, like in the
Oh,
maraschino cherries. Like, if you ever had a Shirley Temple, like it's a Sprite with a little bit of maraschino cherry juice, and then like it's like that's non-alcoholic. So,
okay.
but yeah,
But you don't drink that by itself.
the juice.
The grenadine?
No, I put it in like a Sprite and make it
okay.
like a Shirley
I
Temple.
was
That's
gonna
like an.
say, I said you don't drink the
Oh
grenadine
yeah,
by
no, you
itself.
don't. No. I mean, if you're getting crazy, I guess maybe it's a crazy. I mean, you
You
guys.
thought that was the right way.
So is there anything that someone like wouldn't know about you that I don't know, like I don't know, do you have like a hobby or I don't know, something like that, oh, like, oh, they wouldn't expect that of you.
um,
You're like, oh, I'm putting she's put me on the spot.
yeah. There was a time where I was learning how to windsurf.
You
Wow.
were?
Wow. That's so cool.
Not cool. It was
No.
so
Not
hard.
cool.
So
Not cool.
hard.
It's so hard.
So
Wow.
hard.
It is really hard.
Luckily I did it on a little lake, like on a man-made lake, not as big as Lake Mead, or no, Lake Mead's not man-made, but yeah, it was maybe 3 miles around. It's a man-made lake out in Cali, northern in the bay, and before it got infested with like duck poop and stuff, people did water sports in there, and one of them was windsailing, and or windsurfing, and I had a friend who was really good at it, and then his friend was a teacher in it, and I was like, I'm gonna learn. I think I was 17 or 18 at the time.
Wow.
I don't
It's
know what I
really
was thinking.
hard to
It
get
is
that
super
to get
hard.
on the board and then get the sail up
And then
and
pull the sail up.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Just pulling the sail, I could barely pull the sail up to even start, especially if it
Well,
was already windy.
well, also too, like you don't know now, but like you're pint size, like you're not
Yeah.
like super tall, so
Yeah, I was
which is
probably 75 pounds then.
yeah, like the wind blows and
I'm
there goes
kidding, but
Jane.
maybe
No,
90
but
pounds then.
yeah. Oh, okay. So before we do our like final questions, do you guys have any do you have any like questions that you guys want to ask Jane before we wrap up?
We never really talked about what you do outside of voiceover and like your job for yourself, like in your free time.
Oh,
Yeah,
free time? What
Yeah.
free time?
she wind sails
You know,
apparently.
What free time? I wake up and I go to my computer and VPN into my day job. And then
Mhm.
when I get auditions, I go into my booth and do my auditions, and then I go back to my day job, and then
And then when
and then
you're
I got to feed
done
my
with those for
dogs.
the day,
And then she
I got
comes podcasting with
to
us.
feed my
Yeah.
dogs. Yeah. um my husband has a lot of hobbies, so his hobbies are my hobbies.
That happens in marriage. Yes.
Yeah.
Especially
He
when you've been together for that long. Yeah.
and he loves right now. His hobby is cooking, so he loves
Ooh.
Ooh.
cooking and buying gadgets to help him cook.
Oh, and you guys, that's
That's
so fun.
awesome.
And you get to eat.
And I get to eat it.
And you don't have to cook it, which is
Well, I mean, I always ask him, "Hey, do you need help?"
that's
But he always says no. And he loves it when people loves his food. Um,
awesome.
and
That's
you
The
know
so
when
cooking
the
from the heart. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really hard, Lloyd, because the weather out here. It's hard to have like an active lifestyle here when it's hot.
Oh
So,
gosh, yeah.
I get that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
last year, like Oc September, October, November, December, we went to the lake almost every weekend.
And you were
We
camping, right?
No, we would because the lake is 45 minutes away from us.
Oh, okay.
We have an inflatable boat and we have two inflatable kayaks.
Oh, cool.
So we just kind of pick which one, what do we want to do tomorrow? Do we want to take the boat and go fishing, or do you want to take the kayaks, and which lake do you want to go to? Because we either go to Willow Beach or we go to Lake Mead.
Yeah.
And so that was cool in when it was cooler. But when it's summertime, you can die out there
Yeah.
being on the water.
Well, you also are still pretty active, right? Out, I mean, you might not be promoting things, but you're out actively supporting your local community and friends and your son and going to different events. And, I see that, you post and also you're a part of the minority community, right? In terms of like voice acting, where I forgot what I forgot the name of it.
PGM,
Yes. And you're very actively supportive, I feel like, in all different
voiceover.
communities in voiceover and in your local communities and local artists and musicians and entertainers. So,
I try to be. It's being social is very tiring, especially when they happen at nighttime. So I am very selective when it comes to the events that I go to. Again, the weather takes a lot out of me.
yeah.
The weather makes a difference. If
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
too hot, I don't want to do shit. I don't want to do
Right.
anything. Um, and But if somebody in the community is doing something and they need a little bit more promo, I'd see my Instagram accounts are this is one of the things that I regret doing that I wish I never did was create another Instagram account
For voiceover. Yeah.
for
Separate.
voiceover.
Yeah.
Like, why did I
I
do that? Why do people
don't
do
know.
that?
I don't know.
Because I already had a following on my personal account.
Right.
Like I had a following that people who weren't voiceover, people who were business owners, my friends and my family, And then when I created this new one, it's like, okay, now I have all these voiceovers, people that are following me on my Instagram account, which is great, because now I'm networking with them, I'm learning from them too. But at the same time, I'm like, how do I get my followers from my old account to my new account? There's
Yeah.
only so many times where you can go on the old account and say, follow me on my new account,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Or you lose an
So,
account entirely and can't log into it. That happened to me. That was fun.
yeah, yeah. And I have not posted on my old account in, I don't know, maybe over a year. I check it every once in a while, but so the promoting part is I'm very selective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am selective. So I
I
have to
love
be
that.
really like, ooh, I wish I could go to this, or people should go to this.
Yeah.
Other than that, the people who are who need the promotion, they already have like a huge following. I'm just doing it to really promote because I think it's cool.
You like it.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I see right there is like I'm from a healing people pleaser. I see someone who's grounded, strong, sets boundaries, and is not afraid to promote and share other people when, like, you know, you're fully invested and interested in it. And it's, you know, and I love that because, like, I hope one day I can be, you know, in that, in that place in life. But I have to, like, I have a fun question for you, so we don't take up your whole night because I don't know if you have to get back to the conference. Um,
I
so
think
you
it's
said you,
networking night now.
oh,
Or
okay.
networking time.
So evocation is an all virtual conference. If anybody, you know, in voiceover ever, and it's like business focused, correct? Or yeah, okay.
Correct.
So
Yes.
that's like right up your alley. But okay, so this is, you said your husband's into cooking right now. Okay, so this is a fun question. What kitchen appliance would most accurately represent you as a personality? And we all, this is a round table, so think of like
Oh,
a
no.
I know this is so crazy.
Give me a
I
second.
know, we'll go first. I was like thinking in my head, like what kitchen appliance would accurately represent me? Like, and I'm thinking a blender, you know, like, and then I'm like, how? Because that, you know, because it would be, it's like sturdy, and you can use it to make soup, and you can make it to make smoothies, and you can also make it to make a margarita, which is, or like a daiquiri. So it's like, you know, it's it's multifunctioning, you know. I don't know. That's the first thing that popped in my head. Gabby, do you have a
I have
kitchen?
no idea.
Okay.
I'm like,
You're like Lloyd,
Fridge, and I will not elaborate.
a fridge.
okay, I like it.
Okay, we'll just, that's it. That's his final answer.
Yeah,
Fridge,
Take that for what you
refrigerator,
will.
Um,
a stove.
a stove. Is that your final answer? You're not going to
Yeah.
elaborate?
multi-stove features. Like,
I just said, yeah, just a stove, gas stove.
You have some convection in there and
No
regular
idea.
stoving.
I can warm you up with that.
That's perfect. I love that.
kitchen gadget. Kitchen gadget. Okay.
You could be a knife. I mean, you could be a hand mixer. You could be you could be a toaster oven, a toaster.
Okay. I think I
Okay,
got
you
it.
got it.
I think so.
A juicer.
Tupperware.
Tupperware.
It's classic. That is,
love it.
I like it. I like
Yeah,
it.
Tupperware.
Tupperware. Yes,
Yeah.
it's very resourceward.
Right?
it
Yes,
is.
It
it
holds
is.
It is.
everything.
It's
Holds
It does.
anything you want.
detailed. It's very detail oriented. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Different
Like
sizes.
different sizes. Yes, I love it.
Holds
Okay.
cold stuff and hot stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's great for leftovers and prepping, food prepping.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
I'm kind of
Okay,
proud of that one.
that was great.
I love it.
Okay, Lloyd is going to ask the final question.
Oh.
Putting him on
Final
the spot.
question?
For it.
Yeah, you know the final
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
You
And
got this.
I haven't asked the final question in
A little bit. It's
a
been a
long
minute.
time. I didn't know
Mhm.
it was I didn't know it was a standing final question, but I'll ask it, I guess. Jane.
In your career.
Oh,
Well, I mean, because we always.
We always say the
You-
same
because it's always
answer.
the same answer.
Yeah. I mean, we already know the answer.
That's
You know?
true. Okay, yes.
In your career.
In your
career.
career, what is the
Voiceover
one
career. Voiceover career.
Yes. Yes, you're
Okay. In your
yes.
voiceover career, what is the one thing you have done that you're the most proud of?
While she's thinking, we are processing our improvement of our final question.
That's exactly how it works, Jaws.
I know, right? I'm learning.
um okay. It does need some improving, for sure. Always. I would have to say my website.
I love that. Yeah.
My website, because I really didn't get any help from anybody. I have no website building skills. I was frustrated in the beginnings. But I just wanted a simple website. I had no money, you know.
Yeah.
I know it's an investment, but at the same time, like I just need it simple. I know it's simple. If it can do, if it can, if the program can just plug in all of these elements, I'll be good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I did it, and you know, I
And
got it
that's-
evaluated, and people liked it. I'm like, okay, so I'm good. I don't need anything anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
And
I just and I can update it myself anytime I want.
I love that.
that's
And
awesome. Yeah.
we have a little mini animated Jane on your website. It's like a little Jane.
It's not
Well, it's like
animated,
a
but
character.
it
It's
is a
like
character. Yeah.
yeah, it's a
funny
character.
because I was about to go to your website, but then I remember what it looked like.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the best website, but it
It's
has all the
good.
elements.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. And it's simple, it's to the point, and it tells people who you are and what you have to offer, and it showcases your demos. And sometimes when yeah, the best
And I can
compliment
remember what it looked like.
and you can remember what it looks like.
I'm the point being, I haven't seen it in months, and the fact that I know what it looks like means it had left some sort of standing impression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So, do you want to share with everybody your website so that if they want to come and find you or they want to check it out? We should do that. It's that time.
Well, you can find me at thejaneaquino.com.
Yep.
I'm also on LinkedIn. You can find me Jane Aquino, voiceover. And on Instagram, I am the Jane Aquino. If you can remember that. I had to put the underscore there because there was an already one out there.
And you had to add, did you have to add the too? Because there was already another Jane Aquino.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how
me
the whole
too.
The Jane Aquino came about.
Yeah, me too. I have
It has a nice ring to it, though.
yeah,
We know that this is the
the
Yeah.
the Jane
The
Aquino.
original one.
We have
The one and
There's
only.
other ones out there, but this is the Jane Aquino.
and she's ours. And we had the pleasure of having the Jane Aquino on tonight. So thank you
That's
so
right.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
you
joining.
guys.
Yeah, thank you for joining and sharing us with sharing with us your journey and like how you got started and being a part of our Meet Your Actor series. So I appreciate that. And we
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. Yeah, and we appreciate you coming on and being our guest co-host and
For
having
sure.
some fun with
Thank
us
you very
along the
much.
way.
Definitely.
I appreciate you, and thank you for being with me throughout my journey, for real. So,
Yes. And yeah, thank you so much. All right.
okay.